to talk about electric versus acoustic guitar in open G tuning. I've got my electric out here tuned to open G, and I've added a little bit of grit, a little bit of gain to it, and that allows me to get some more sustain. So when I hit the open strings, that chord kind of keeps on ringing. And that's one of the nice advantages of playing an electric guitar, is you can get that sustain and kind of a growl to it. So it gives it a little bit of a different character. This guitar also has much lighter strings than I have on my acoustic. So my highest string, my first string, is a .010 gauge string. So that's pretty light. So because of that, I have to have a much lighter touch. I don't move my arm as much when I'm playing the electric guitar, and I'm doing a little bit more muting to kind of stop that. When I want to stop the growl and get a short note, I've got to do a little bit more muting. So those are some of the differences between the electric and the acoustic. When you're playing with a slide, I have to be a little bit more careful with the slide on the electric because the strings are closer to the guitar than they are on my acoustic, and they're lighter strings. Now you could raise your strings up a bit if you were playing an electric that you wanted to play slide on, exclusively. But I like to use this guitar for a lot of different things in standard tuning and stuff. So I like to keep the action pretty low. But with that sustain, with that grit, that gain, I can... helps my notes ring out, So isn't that interesting? It's a little bit different, definitely, than if I was playing the same riffs on an acoustic. But I just got to be kind of very careful with that slide. You could use a light. This is a very heavy slide, a brass slide. So probably if I really wanted to play a lot of slide on the electric, I would use like a lighter slide, like a glass slide or something, ceramic one maybe. Because if it's lighter, then it's not going to push on the strings and won't cause as much trouble. So those are some of the things about the electric guitar that I just really enjoy. I've been playing electric guitar longer than I've been playing acoustic guitar, but nowadays acoustic is really my go-to, my favorite kind of guitar to play. All right, so now I'm going to play a little bit on the acoustic guitar. I'm going to play that same riff that I played at the beginning on the electric. All right, so this is a Resonator guitar. This part here is the Resonator, and that does add a little bit of sustain to the notes, which is kind of nice for slide. I think is one of the reasons a lot of people like Resonator guitars for slide, but it is still an acoustic guitar. It has heavier strings on it. So like I said, my electric guitar had .010 is the first string. On this guitar, it's .012. So it's quite a bit thicker, and all the other strings are quite a bit thicker as well. That allows me to wear my thumb pick and my finger pick, and that allows me to kind of dig into the guitar more than I ever could on an electric. So on an electric, a lot of times it's like the amp is kind of making a lot of the sound, and you can have a pretty light touch. But if you want to play, blues on an acoustic, then you have to have more of a, aggressive attack on the strings. So this is one of the biggest differences between the two types of instruments if you're playing in open G. So for the slide, it's nice too with those heavier strings because it gives me a little bit more resistance, and I don't have to be as careful. I don't have to be as careful with the slide as I do with the electric. All right, so hopefully this gave you some insights on playing open G tuning on an electric versus an acoustic. Really, it's fun to mess around with both. If you needed a reason to buy another guitar, I just gave you one. You're welcome. I think I'm going to end up and play a little bit more on the electric. But before I do that, I do want to let you know I have a free Open G tuning guide available. I'm going to put a link for that in the description. And I've also got a bunch of other videos on Open G as well. All right, enjoy. Alright, I'm gonna boogie on out of here. Thanks for checking this out.